Welcome back, my friends, for another fun reloading video. Today is going to be episode 6 of our 357 Magnum series, and today we're playing with a new bullet. This is the Lee 358-158 Flat Nose. These are coming in right at about 161, 162 grains, but we're going to just go with our 158 grain data here with our Shooter's World Heavy Pistol Powder. And they actually have data here on the bottle, which is super helpful. But we've got our own little Shooter's World handbook here, which you can also find online and just get the PDF if you want. We're going to see what they have to say about heavy pistol, what they compare it to, what they think about our Magnum primers here. So we'll start on the first page of their little manual here at the burn rate chart. We see heavy pistol on the far left. And then we see their Lovex brand equivalent, which is their European market. And then they're going to say that it's pretty much going to be like accurate number 9. It's a little slower than long shot. It's a little faster than some Lil Gun. And it's a little faster than H110, as you can see. So on and so forth with all of your favorite Magnum powders. And then in our compatibility chart, we can see our 357 Magnum. They have data all the way across for everything, including SOCOM there, which I have some of that, but maybe we need to look into some data and play with that later on. Anyways, 357 Magnum heavy pistol there. So here is their little bit of literature. It says, ballistic results for this propellant show it appropriate for Magnum pistol applications. 300 blackout with supersonic lightweight projectiles. It is similar in bird speed to number 9. Has similar applications to 2400, H110, and 296. The superior ignition of this propellant permits less than full loading density. That's perfect if you're not wanting to use H110 and just totally cram your case full. Therefore, it's not necessary to load full power loads with this propellant in order to achieve safe results. Shooter's World tests this propellant with standard pistol primers as well as Magnum pistol primers. To date, we have found no evidence that heavy pistol requires a Magnum primer for reliable ignition. Well, poo. My brass is already primed with the CCI 550s, but we're going to see how that acts, and then later on we're also going to test it with some standard pistol primers as well. So we'll get to test that out and see how it likes, a full case, or rather a full power load versus a minimum charge. See how those deviations look and all that kind of fun stuff to see if it actually helps having a Magnum primer or not. We see in comparison to other Magnum pistol propellants, we find heavy pistol exceptionally clean, accurate with either cast or jacketed projectiles, and exhibiting low muzzle flash. Well, dang, that's like everything you want, right? It's going to work for our cast loads. It's a lower density loading, so we're going to be using less powder than our H110, and also low muzzle flash, which H110 is famous for, having that big fireball blast out downrange. Yeah, it looks cool, but it's a lot of unburnt powder just coming out the end of the gun, which is essentially, not getting used. And on to our load data. They have everything from a 110 grain bullet here, all the way up to a 158 grain Nosler jacketed hollow point, and then the Barry's flat nose. So that's perfect for us. We're going to be using a 161 grain cast load, so that'll be just perfect. We can see that their maximum charges are around 12.9 and 12.2 there. But actually here on the bottle, 150 grain Nosler jacketed hollow point, max charge of 13.1. That's going to give 1457. Whoa, buddy. But here if we see 158 grain Nosler jacketed hollow point, they're going to max out at 12.2, and that gives 1557. So that's quite a discrepancy. So after checking the website here, this manual is up to date, and 12.9 looks like our maximum charge with the berries, and here right in here, 12 grains or so. So based on all these, I'm going to call my maximum charge 12.5. 12.5 grams is where we're going to end up, but I'll start at 11.5, do 12.0, and then 12.5 as well. So we'll do 5 at each of those ranges there, and that should give us some good velocity data as well as check on our pressure and see how that is looking. So here's a quick look at our bullet before we actually get started. It is a beveled base design, so it's almost sort of like a boat tail, a little bit rebated there. It is a plain base, no gas check, and a flat nose there. So we're going to have quite a bit of bullet into the case. And again, these are right at 161 grains, size 2 356. Here's our dummy round, and there's our case fill right in there. So we'll have plenty of capacity to work with. And since our heavy pistol here is a low density charge, you know, we're probably going to be about half full, maybe 3/4, but definitely not a full case with this faster burning powder. Our brass is our arms core from the first video where we prepped everything. It's already been once fired through episodes 3 and 4, but we've been sized and expanded and primed here as well. So we are ready to start dumping powder and seating our bullets. And again, our primers are the CCI 550 Magnums, which Shooter's World says we do not require for consistent ignition. So we're going to test that here later on, but since we're already primed up with these, no big deal. We'll test these today, and then later on down the road, we'll try them with some standard primers and see if they still go bang. Before we get dumping any powder, for the uninitiated, here's a look at our Shooter's World Heavy Pistol super fine ball powder. Flows like water in your measure. It's really good at dumping good. So let's get to some trickling here. And here's our first one at 11.5. Let's just have a look at our case fill here. Yeah, it's pretty far down in there. We still have plenty of case capacity, but this will not be a full case load here. We can see how far down our bullet's going to be going, but even from here to here, you know, you could probably fit a double charge in there. So we're going to have to be careful and pay attention with this faster burning powder here that takes up much less capacity. And I don't feel like using a scoop today, so we're doing the manual auto trickler method here, where you just kind of tip it and it goes pretty quick until you think you're getting close, and then you overshoot it. And then you have to use your scooper anyways. Oh yeah, we're way up there. Anyways, it's a little faster if you're, you know, careful. Not trying to make videos like a dum-dum. But we can take it just under and then, you know, trickle back up with the greatest of precision. Beautiful. Actually, we're back over. Okay. Try this again. Oh yeah, just barely. Boop. There it is. There's 11.5 for our second case here. Let me get these other 3 at 11.5 done and out of the way, and we'll take a look at our case fill again and make sure we have them in all the cases before we seat those 5, so I don't knock anything over and spill it everywhere. And a quick visual inspection before we seat these first 5 bullets. Beautiful. All right, so we were already set up here with our dummy round, so this should be pretty close. Oh, that's just perfect, right on that line where we want it. Once we get all of our powder dumped, we'll crimp everything at the end, but right now those look just perfect on our seating depth. So we'll get all these seated and onto our next powder charge. Very nice. And of course, we always write on our case our charge weight with 11.5 there in case we're to dump anything, you know, out at the range, wherever I can find my cases, and they will still be appropriately labeled. Very nice. So that's our first 5. We have to dump 12 grains now and then 12.5. Let's get on with it. Just got our last 12 grain charge here. Everything is looking good so far. We've got all of our charges down in here. They are good to go. And we'll go ahead and seat these 5 bullets before we get on to our last charge of 12.5 grains. Again, I'll just pre-seat the bullets here on top. Very nice. These are going in just smoothly, I'll tell you what. Last one here at 12 grains. Oh, keep them straight now. Perfect. Yeah, all those look great. And we're on to our last charge of 12.5. Here we go. And we'll just make sure we're set here. 12.5. Very nice. And auto trickler. All right, a couple more little twisties. And perfect. There we go, 12.5. Very nice. Okay, we got a few more here. And our last one at 12.5 here. We'll get these seated up and then we'll get everything crimped and get out to the range. So there's our last one. Very nice. Once again, a quick powder check. We can see our case fill is increasing, but we still have some empty space in there. And again, we could probably still double charge that. So it's good to be cautious when you're using these faster powders that take up less capacity. And again, with our seating die, everything's dialed in, good to go. We'll just seat these real quick, and then we'll go ahead and crimp it all up. And once again, everything is seating just perfectly. No issues at all. All right, we're gonna go ahead and switch this out here and grab our factory crimp die, and we'll get everything nice and healthily crimped here, which will both aid in ignition, hopefully, if our powder were to require such, and also it'll help with bullet setback from heavy recoil of these Magnum loads, because as you shoot, your bullets could back out under recoil and actually lock up your cylinder. So that could be totally horrible if you don't have a sufficient crimp. So let's see where this is. So we're just starting to bite into that groove. I'm going to come down maybe a 1/16 or so of a turn, and we'll see how this reacts. And I think that's just about good. So let's get all these. All right, there's our second one. I think we are good to go here. These are all good to go. Let's pack them up, head to the range. All right, let's hit the range and see what we can do here. And here we are back from the range, folks. All right, so here is a nice look at our target. Our first 5, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is roughly 15 to 17 yards, I would say. And we can see our average for 5 shots, 1168. We have a spread of 115 and a deviation of 42. Noted that we held one dot low, and that goes for all of these charges here, with medium recoil. What I mean by held one dot low is this gun likes to shoot high, so I'm aiming at this one to hit this one. Anyways, 5 shots here, I would say 2.5, 3 inches, and an average of 1168. Not the greatest velocity, not the greatest extreme spreads, but accuracy not too horrible, I wouldn't say. And to look at our brass, very clean burning, not any leftover residue, no powder or soot. Our primers, our very first charge is a little bit flattened, medium recoil, no cratering here, so I believe we're still safe to move up, and we do, onto 12 grains. So again, we're holding on our third dot, and here is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. A little bit of vertical stringing, not too bad though. Probably, again, aside from this one flyer up in here, probably 3 or 3.5 inches, somewhere in there. And from our chronograph, our 5-shot average, 1196. We can see that our extreme spread tightened up to 66 and deviations down to 29. A little bit snappier recoil, and I aimed with the first shot actually aiming here again instead of here, so that's why this one is up high. So if we actually, took that one here, that would probably be our best group here from the shooter's world. So the target is a little bit misleading, but it would have been right in here with this cluster of other ones. Again, our brass, clean burning, no extra unburnt powder. Our primers are still rounded around the edges there. No cratering, and we're safe to bump up again to 12.5. So our final charge of 12.5, here's our point of aim, and we have this little cluster here opening up a bit. Probably me. I mean, I'm just standing offhand again at probably 15 yards, and here's our 5 shots. And from the chronograph, we've got an average of 12:14. Only 20 feet per second faster than our last charge, but that's all within the deviations between the charges. So this could really be, 1250, and that could be 1150 if we picked whatever data we wanted to argue our point. Again, snappy recoil and same report, it sounded the same. Not too bad. I bet if I just went with 12 grains, that's where we had our best numbers on the chronograph and probably our best group. If we moved that one down where it should have been, but I was aiming at the wrong spot. So, that's on me. We're gonna go ahead and load up more at 12 grains, I think, and we'll confirm this, and then probably try it out in the lever gun at some point, so that could be fun as well. 12.5 grains, here is our brass, still no cratering, it looks the exact same. We still have roundness to our primer out here. A little bit flat, but nothing horrible. So anyways, I believe, we're gonna retest 12 grains there, and I'm actually gonna aim at the correct spot for all of the shots. Maybe do 20 and take an average of that, see what the numbers say with the larger test group. And we're also gonna try standard primers, I think, as well, because they do mention again that you don't have to have a Magnum primer for these. So we're gonna go with standard primers and 12 grains with our next test here. So stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoy this sort of content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button for me, and go follow me over on Instagram. That is at DummyRoundOfficial. So anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. We will see you in the next video. Have a good one.